spent like this. Too hard for your money to be spent like this. And I know you got a lot of brown nose and butt kissers in this town. You work too. And if you really look in the mirror and say, why is my money being spent like this on big businesses and I'm not getting a piece of the pie? That's what you need to be saying. Why am I not getting a break on my taxes when you're getting all this money from these big businesses to do this? That's what you need to do, bootlickers and ass kissers. Ask yourself that. Why is these big businesses getting all these breaks and I'm still got to pay all these big taxes in this little town? Why is it that we're paying this amount of money for our police department and this guy down on Sligo Mill Road can't even get police response? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Or no, that's what you all need to ask yourselves. This Maryland, Montgomery County National Park people spent big money to make these signs for no parking. And yet and still, parking continues. As you saw the code enforcement guy, these are their cameras. What the fuck is you putting cameras up here when you just gonna drive by and see these people unloading this shit and you don't even say nothing? And that's exactly what happened. The white car came up first. I was in the back videotaping 6530 New Hampshire Avenue. And they saw me back there and they stopped. Then they left. Then they sent, and this piece of equipment was being unloaded. Then they sent the blue car down here to see if I would breach 6530 New Hampshire Avenue. That shows you how this police department is, or these individuals who running it are dumb as a brick. Dumb as a brick. Taxpayers of Tacoma Park, Maryland, you better start waking up. You better start waking up. Looking yourself in the mirror and saying, why are we paying for this, and we're not getting it? Where is the money going? It's going to developers in other states so that these people can continuously grease their hands. How do you give a man $10 million who don't live in your state, don't pay taxes in your state, don't pay taxes in your little town, but you want to give him $10 million? Get Get the fuck out of here. I know I gotta stop cussing. People say, but this is, I'm a person that says what's on my mind. And you taxpayers need to start waking up and realizing and start doing the same thing. I don't even live in your town, and that don't even sound right. If I lived in Takoma Park, Maryland, and I found out that this government of mine was about to give $5 million to a person that don't even live in my town, don't even live in my state, don't pay taxes, and you talking about you were going in partnerships with this individual, I would have a problem with you, and I would do everything I could to whoever name is on that piece of paper to give or voted to give this man that money. I would make sure that you don't be reelected the next go round. Still, no law enforcement from Takoma Park, Maryland. And the funny thing about it is, they think they hurting me. You're not hurting me. I'm showing the taxpayers derelict of duty, corruption, extortion, harassment, attempted intimidation. That's what I'm showing the taxpayers of this town. You see, when I embarked on this news agency in your town, people came to me and told me that these individuals was going to do this. So I was ready for it. You know. But what they fail to realize is this. We're going to meet up in Greenbelt, and sadly, the taxpayers are going to have to pay for this. And maybe they will wake up this time and say, we're going to do something about this. Immunity leaves this little town, and that the officers are responsible for their own actions. Because they go through a 6-month course, and they know what the law is. But to keep a job, which they shouldn't have to fear of keeping a job from a corrupt individual who is wearing a brass uniform, there's a problem with that. Why should your job be in jeopardy because you're doing it and you're scared of an individual who wears 2 bars or shamrocks or sergeant stripes on his shoulder because they're corrupt and not doing their job? Somebody in these companies are paying somebody off in the government. I'm letting you know that right now. And I guarantee you, that money is not going in the budget, it's not going in the surplus, it's going in somebody's account. Personal account. Still, no Takoma Park law enforcement. Response time is another thing, ladies and gentlemen. But this is out of retaliation. This is a, you know, here's the FedEx guy. Let's see who gets here first. And the sad part about it, America, this isn't just happening in this little town. This is across the United States with our government. Deals are being made behind closed doors. And that is not how a government should be. That's how corruption starts. People are putting money in their personal accounts from these little side deals. Again, there's an employee of the Tacoma Park government who is a member. Their family member is a member of one of these construction companies that does business with Takoma Park, Maryland. And that should never be. If your family member works for the government, then no company should do business with that company if there's a family member working in that company. But that's not how it works. I guarantee you, somebody should audit these are government officials' accounts, because somebody's greasing somebody's hand. If you walk around Takoma Park, Maryland, taxpayers, you will see with the surplus that you all have, if they're willing to give this out of towner $5 million, that $5 million can go and put sidewalks up and down all your streets in your little town. Why is it that some of your streets don't have sidewalks? Unacceptable, taxpayers. You bootlickers and ass kissers. Unacceptable. Here we go again. Here go another truck. Unacceptable. You're willing to give $5 million to somebody who's not even a resident of your town, but you can't put the sidewalks where your children have to walk to parks and to other areas or friends' houses. They have to walk in the street. You should be appalled, taxpayers, that your government is doing this. Look at here. See, they park how they want to park, where they want to park. Zero enforcement. I will cut this off so that you can see, but I'm gonna run it until it cuts itself off. And this is how long it takes law enforcement of Takoma Park, which is probably, 3-4 miles away from here. But they're not gonna come because they know who I am. Anytime a citizen calls for assistance, law enforcement is obligated to show up, except in this little town, because they're butthurt. They're butthurt. They really thought they were going to just run me out of town. When they did that little stunt, April the 28th, 2022. I'm telling you, somebody's getting paid off for these vehicles, this equipment to be parked right here after the Montgomery County people came out here and put these no parking signs up. Somebody getting paid. And I don't care if it's at the state level or this town level, somebody's getting paid, as you see that no parking sign. Because if the real police came down here and saw people, citizens, taxpayers parked here, they would get tickets. What's the difference between them and this company? Because this company is paying off somebody. And look, no police. Well, no security force, because I believe that the park police people they have to come halfway across the county, because as you heard before, there's only a few of them. You know, and it's sad that I got to call them to come out here and enforce something. As you heard me tell the dispatcher, there are 2 cars down here with windows blowed out, busted out. Still no response from them. Still no response from them. You got all them police cars sitting down at your police station. And this is why nobody wants to be a law enforcement officer. They don't want the hassle of getting looped up in criminal activity and they end up in jail on somebody else's dime, because they would have to make a decision, should I tell on this person or not? And the best thing to do, I'm not going to be a police officer. If you take this immunity away from them, you will get a whole lot of good police officers, people who wouldn't mind joining the police force. Because everybody will be held accountable for their own actions. It's not rocket science. People don't want to join law enforcement because it is so corrupt that they may get hemmed up on somebody else's foolishness. But if you take immunity away from them and hold each one of these officers accountable for their own actions, you will get law enforcement officers, people who are respectable, people who wouldn't mind wearing the badge, but they're just not going to get hemmed up in some foolishness. And that's what's going on with some of the officers in this little town, Taxpayers of Tacoma Park. You have some good officers. You have some good officers. But because they have to take care of their families, they're doing what these individuals who are corrupt are telling them what to do. The brass. Even some of the ones that I videotaped, I believe they're good officers, but they got to take care of their families. And I don't hold that against them. But it's up to the taxpayers to put a stop to this and get good officers on the force in your town. Still, no law enforcement. We gotta take immunity away from these government officials. There she go again. She just riding around. I believe she's a government employee. This the lady that the code enforcement guy told to move along, and now she's parked on the other side of these bushes. I think she works for Tacoma Park too. I really do. Now she's back. She's not eating lunch, nothing. I will go mess with her, but I got better things to do. Question her. Who sent you down here? The chief, the mayor, or a member of the code enforcement? She's sitting on the other side of them bushes right there. That's the car that the code enforcement told her to move along. And she's back now, sitting on the other side of them bushes. I mean, again, taxpayers, I don't know how y'all got these police officers, but The majority of them are not even the smartest ones in the apple bucket. You see them coming a mile away. Again, still no security force. I got my money on, if I was a betting man, told you, here come the park police, gets here before Takoma Park gets here. The real police gets here before the town police gets here. Sad, taxpayers of Takoma Park, sad. How you doing, young man? I called Takoma Park. I called them way before you, sir. And none of them even showed up. How you doing, sir?
We see each other again.
And the guy said the state, I don't know if they gave him a permit, but I doubt it. That's been here all night long. And you see the parking sign that you guys put up? They park it right here. As I tell you, I put my money on the real police. Taxpayers of Takoma Park, look yourself in the mirror. It's time to get real police officers on your force. They just dumped this one off, and the guy, you know, I don't know if they have permits or not, but I doubt it. This is the real police right here. Car 866. And this whole area was full of cars until I started recording back in, and they just scooted out of here.
Yeah, the good thing, Eric, I can tell you one thing. With this right here, this is an expensive piece of equipment, so they're gonna come back and get this. I know
oh no, they dropped it off just now, and code enforcement came. They must be getting ready to do some work on this highway.
Right.
But they used to jump stuff here, and then they made them move it.
Right.
Now they're back here again. They used to park over there where those no parking sign is, and then they told them to move from over there. But this is a problem.
Yeah. So normally I have discretion, but if it was vehicles, like regular vehicles, I'm all for it. But with this, I think they're most likely going to be a contractor, and they're probably going to be some type of work. And I'm looking at, it's really hard for them to get into a regular parking spot, even though it does say no parking there. Mm-hmm. If they're here more than like 72 hours, of course, I'm going to do something about it. But the fact is, it's like we got to have the discretion as far as, they're
I understand.
It's a worker's start. So I just think.
But they have to have a permit. They have to have a permit, Mr. Bell.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the thing is, my problem is this, because again, they got liquid that is leaking out of these machines. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to go do work on wherever they're doing. They're going to bring these machines back here, and they're going to come and clean it with diesel fuel and clean it off right here. And this oil and this diesel is going to soak into this parking. And I don't know if this is your jurisdiction. I really don't. But I called Takoma Park, and they never showed up. But let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is parking, where no parking, is that a crime or an infraction?
It's an infraction.
Okay, but it's still illegal.
Absolutely.
Okay, so whoever authorized them to be here is aiding and abetting in an illegal act in this state. Am I correct?
An infraction, yeah.
Yeah, in a okay. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. If these was regular people, taxpayers, they couldn't park here. So why are we allowing this? And I'm a devil advocate because.
And like I just explained to you, I mean, with that sign, the only thing is that there's nowhere else for them to park, so they can make that, we put them in a parking lot, like they,
no, in their yard. They make billions of dollars.
Right. But and that's the thing. I don't know where they're doing work at, especially if it's maybe
the state highway.
The state highway.
Yeah, this is. He told me they're working for the state highway.
Did you get a chance? Did he? You know the guy's name?
No, he's on my video. Okay. And which I'm just saying, I just want to bring it to government's attention.
Yeah.
That it's got to go across the board. These people make billions of dollars you can keep this equipment in your yard until tonight when you get ready to do the construction work, and then pick it up and take it back. That's the truck that dropped it off right there.
The green one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just dropped it off.
Okay.
But they supposed to have a permit.
And I'm sure they have, I don't know if it's a permit, but I know they have some type of authorization from somebody,
That's code enforcement lady. She leaving now. Been watching me. I don't know why she watching me. But he said call the state because you got to get issued a permit to even park on the side of the street.
Yeah, that's a good.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's the real police. You know, as I tell her, I mean, if you're going to do it across the board. Citizens cannot park here. Why are we letting these big businesses park here? Still, no Tacoma Park law enforcement came down here. But the chief says his people patrol. Even when you hear me call them, they won't come. Taxpayers of this state, of this town. Even when I told them that there are some windows bust out of cars back here, they won't show up. Taxpayers, you need to think long and hard about replacing this law enforcement department and these individuals who is running your government. I'm gonna ask this officer where he was at on this call and see if he would go down here and deal with these broken windows or not. It's a damn shame. Shoot. As you heard, this is an infraction, and whoever gave them a permit to park here is aiding and abetting in a criminal act. I don't care how you look at it. Can citizens get a permit to park where there's no parking?
That they should be done in about 24 to 48 hours. If they have a permit, our intended company to do some work. So if that's the case,
I'm gonna check into it because the last what's her name, Ms. Moore came. The last time they came in, you guys came. They didn't have permits. They just lied. But let me ask you a question. It's a crime. It's aiding and abetting. I can't park here. Where I get a permit at so I can come and park here? Shouldn't have. I called Takoma Park. There's 2 vehicles out down there with windows bust out of them. Right. You don't deal with that, do you?
Do we? Me? Yeah.
Well, there's 2 windows that have been broke out. Can I show you?
Yeah, the only thing is it's not. When you say we don't deal, we deal with that, but if it's on our property, then
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's parked on the street, but there's no parking stickers down there on them. But they put tickets on them, but they won't ticket this. And this is what I'm trying to tell my people.
Right.
This got to go across the board. You know, this is $1 billion business. They should have no right to park here by a park. Okay, and you see Takoma Park. Where were you coming from? Wheaton? Yeah. Takoma Park is right here. You come all the way from Wheaton, and they haven't gotten here yet. Yeah. And they're doing it out of spite because they know who I am. Code enforcement came by here.
And the only thing I would say with offering type of vehicle, like if you might see, they're parked on like the roadways, like when they're doing construction, at nighttime, they're parked in spots that cars, just can't sit at.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not saying they have a special, nothing special about them, but at the end of the day, it's like they're doing some type of work to maybe, I don't know if it's for the roads, whatever it's for. I don't know if he's picking it up now.
No, he's going to turn around and go back out.
No, but like I said, it's like I get what you're saying, but they have it's like they have a reason. You know what I'm saying? They're here for a reason. They're going to do some type of work.
But they're not above the law, Mr. Bill. And that's what I'm trying to tell my tax.
No,
I'm not saying you are.
And I even told you, if this car is here more than 48 hours, I will make sure that I personally take it and call the company and make sure they get.
And that's what I'm trying to tell my taxpayers. These companies make billions of dollars. They have a yard. They should not be bringing this equipment out here, putting it where we can't park, and they park. I don't care what kind of permit they're getting. They shouldn't get it. They shouldn't get it on our tax dime.
And I can tell you that's one thing right there. That's way above my pay.
I know.
That's something I can't.
I know.
What's going on, man? I appreciate you last time, so I don't forget the face. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, he did something for you?
He did the oil, remember?
Oh. You gonna bring me my Pepsi? He won't do that for me.
Okay.
You won't bring me my Pepsi? The many times I brought you lunch, you ain't gonna bring me no Pepsi?
I got it, Mike.
All right, I'm gonna be waiting right here. When you come back, zip through it.
You want a Pepsi or you want a Coke?
I want a Pepsi. I don't drink Coke. No, but I understand what you said. But I'm trying to get my people to understand that nobody's above the law.
No.
When you allow, somebody's fingers are getting greased with this kind of activity. You know, because if you got a permit, somebody's paying for that permit. Where's the money going? Where's the money going? I'm guaranteed it ain't going to the taxpayers, because if it was, the taxes wouldn't be so high if you let $1 billion business do this. You know, and my biggest thing is, look how all this oil and grease on here. Tonight, when they bring this machine, and I don't know where they're working at, you know, but tonight when they bring this, they're going to spray that machine down with diesel, and then it's going to be right here on the ground. I'm going to be right here videotaping. They'll put it on there. So.
And I know too, like we deal with, you know, us having 380 parks, we have like parking complaints all the time. Cause a lot of times back on Ellsworth, I don't know if you're familiar with that area, Silver Spring, we have people that want to use the dog park, but people are dropping their cars off there to take the metro to, you know, and they're using it as a lot. So we deal with parking tickets, and we have discretion, whether we give them a ticket, whether we give them a warning, you know, things of that nature. And that's where like that officer discretion comes in at. You know, somebody's doing something, you know, just to like get out of the way of paying. Of course, you know, they deserve a ticket. But my thing is this, right? Whole thing. Let's just say this, right?
Okay.
Let's say they couldn't park here, but the sign wasn't there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the sign wasn't there, and they parked here for tonight or maybe 2 nights.
I wouldn't have a problem with.
You know what I'm saying? But the fact that sign is there is basically telling them they shouldn't.
Exactly.
But I mean, and this is what my point is, that even on Ellsworth, we have signs that says no parking, only for dog patrons only. They use the park. I know if you go to any of our parks, you'll see it. And people, they continue to still park there.
And they should get tickets.
And they do.
And they should get heavy tickets.
Warnings and tickets. You know
yeah, they should get heavy tickets, because now you thumbing your nose up at law enforcement. And that's what's going on back here.
And my whole thing, the only reason I say that is like, I only said to say is that, yeah, we have this problem right here, but I mean, it's like we have that problem with everybody, you know. And we literally have signs posted, so it's like. And
I'm telling my people, it's not just here; it's all across the board, that people need to be enforced heavily, especially back here where there is a problem. You know, now when these machines leave, people gonna feel like they can come back here and park because they let these machines park back here. You know. But my biggest thing is, Tacoma Park, Chief says patrols back here. You guys you come